Good afternoon, flosstube. My name is Laura, aka the Gin Stitcher, here on flosstube and on Instagram. It's Sunday afternoon, which is Sunday the 23rd of October. I'm a little bit behind schedule. I try and do this in the first week of the month normally, but life has got a little bit away from me. I've been on holiday, been on my lovely summer holiday to the Isle of Wight, which I'll tell you about in a minute, and work has just been completely crackers. We have new starters that I have to look after, and then whilst looking after them I had to go on training of my own, so that was a little bit surreal, but training in the morning and being trained in the afternoon, so that was kind of messing with my head a bit. And actually I haven't done that much stitching this month, so hence the delay. I also couldn't get rid of my husband in order to be able to film. It's his busy period at work, so whilst he's away during the day I'm working, and he's decided not to fire steam engines all weekend because work is busy, so he needs his energy for during the week, and not to burn 8,000 calories firing a steam engine for 12 hours on a Sunday when he then has to go out to work on Monday. So I can't blame him for that. But it does mean he's been around and he still doesn't know this is happening. He still doesn't know I'm filming, and I'm trying to keep it that way for a little bit longer. You might have noticed a different room today. This is my living room, a couple of pictures on the wall, and my husband's PC behind me for when he's gaming when I'm working upstairs, and he can't use the work PC for gaming, so he can't game upstairs when I'm working because it's too loud. So he sits down here in the living room, invariably with the TV on, PC on, music on, whatever, making as much noise as he possibly can, but thankfully he shuts the door so I can't hear him. I do love my craft room, but it's not good for filming now we're firmly into winter here in Lancashire, in the north of England. The sun sets at 6 o'clock and my windows are north facing, so the light is not great. It's fine for stitching with my lamps, but it's not great for filming. So, on the subject of stitching, do we do stitching first or life update first? Let's do life update first because it kind of covers both things. So I went to the Isle of Wight on my holiday this year. The weather was lovely. There were steam trains. But just one day. I put my foot down on that one this year and said, no, we're just doing one. I'm not willing to give up half my holiday for that. Other than that, the weather was lovely. We spent quite a lot of time on the beach. And I like to stitch on the beach, which is one of the reasons why I laminate all my charts, or as many charts as possible, because it makes them a little bit more indestructible and it does allow me to travel with them a little bit more easily. You will be pleased to know there are finishes. I might not have stitched much, but there are finishes. So first things first, brew. Today's mug says, start the day with a smile. It irritates people. This used to be my office mug. Needless to say, it made people smile, which was the object of the exercise. Okay, do we start with finishes? Should do really, shouldn't we? Okay, right, let's start with the finishes. Okay, so first one, number 6 of my model stitches from Jodrell Designs, and it says, I want to be where the people aren't. So it's shells and starfish, and then I couldn't decide whether this was meant to be a fish or whether it was meant to be a mermaid. So I made it into a mermaid. So it's stitched with a purple and blue floss, and then back stitched with a petite treasure braid in a shade of purple. Jobs for tomorrow, when I finish work, is to FFO this and get it up on my Instagram for Michelle from Jodrell. That's the last one of 6, and that is now completed. So I just need to send them all off to her, and they will be appearing on her website. They are already for sale, as far as I'm aware, on her website. You just have to go to Jodrell Designs or Google Jodrell Designs and they'll come up and you can buy the PDFs. So that is I want to be where the people aren't. So it's six designs on a theme, meant to be a little bit sarcastic, from various Disney movies. So that one's Ohana, the ones you love who also drive you crazy, which is very accurate really, you've got to be honest about this. And then my favourite one from the entire series definitely has to be, which is all the pumpkins. It's from Cinderella, and it says, if you get home missing a shoe, you had a good night. and that is far and away my favourite, even though it got frogged about at least a dozen times for a couple of reasons. One, because I couldn't count, and two, because when I was doing the backstitch on the pumpkins, I kept finding that it wasn't showing enough for me, so I kept having to pull it all out and pick a darker shade of orangey red to try and make it obvious. I wanted the backstitching to be able to be seen. I also fussy stitched it so that the lines of variegation go in line with the backstitch, which was another thing I kept doing, and then I'd forget, and then I'd have to unpick it all and start again. Never mind. Anyway, all done. 6 finishes. I've never had 6 finishes in 1 year, and there's more. There's more. Next one for Charlotte, just for Charlotte from Stitching with the Kids Around, is this one. So I actually started this at a retreat in Manchester back in January 2022. We all went for the day. I was still not sure which continent I was on. I'd only been back in the UK 3 days. I'd had my negative COVID test, so they all said they were happy for me to come to the retreat, so off to Manchester I went. For reference, that's about an hour from my house. It's not too far, and it's okay to go for the day. It was a nice hotel, centre of Manchester. Rebecca, this message is for you. When are we doing it again? I'm ready for the next one. And this is it. So let me check I've got it the right way. Yes. So it is actually 6-way symmetrical, as a snowflake should be. All stitched in DMC. And the crystals really don't show because they're all clear Mill Hill. It's about 6 inches square. Stitched more or less as called for. There is a few changes. The first one is really obvious. It's been stitched on 14 count Ada. These Mill Hill kits come with perforated paper, which I'm A, not a huge fan of, and B, I wanted to turn this into part of my niece's gift, and it's going on bunting, so it had to be on fabric. It had to be washable. What else have I changed? What else have I changed? I have changed all this backstitch around in the pale blue is all stars. Not coming out very well on the camera. They should be stitched in a DMC white, and I've stitched them in a Kreinik number 4001, the silver. And then the other change is I've backstitched a line, 2 strands of thread, single line of backstitch all the way around, just to give it a border, so that when I actually do quilt this and turn it into the hanging, I've got a clear line of edge to work with. So that is the first one, and it is called, she says, she's put it away now, Crystal Snowflake by Mill Hill Buttons and Beads. So that's really enjoyable. It's taken me 9 months to finish that. It is full coverage, there's no hiding that, even though it's only got about 4 colours in it. But it is about 6,500, 7,000 stitches, and then beaded on top. So there's blue beads all around the edge and there, and then silver and clear beads all the way through the centre of the snowflake with the button in the middle. So very heavily beaded. It weighs a ton. You know, I could use this as a weapon if somebody really irritated me. Okay, so on the theme of Mill Hill Buttons and Beads, Charlotte will be really impressed with this, and you better be, because this one is also finished. Let's try and get that, it's not glaring, there we go. Okay, so again, this is in the same theme, same series as the snowflake, and it's called Let It Snow. And so this, literally, these writing up here is all beads, and then the individual snowflakes, big snowflakes here, 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 and here, and this one here are all beaded, this one as well, and then down here is a lot of white DMC with beads all around the edge. This is meant to be like a window frame, so again, and then you've got the sort of 4 or 5 colours of blue DMC making up the background. There was an awful lot of beads in this. There's more beads in this than there is in the snowflake, and that is saying something. So again, stitched on 14 count Ada. It needed to be tough, and again I've drawn a line around to give it a border. This one is even more important to me. I felt it was relevant with it being white at the bottom, and a lot of the writing goes across the top here, so I felt having a border on really gave it finished definition. And again, to keep in theme with the snowflake, there is backstitch on this, which you can see there's a lot down the bottom here, some more smaller snowflakes. Again, I've done those in the Kreinik number 4, 001, to just add even more sparkle, you know, because it's not sparkly enough. So the beads on this are a white 479, I think, from Mill Hill, a petite crystal, and white and crystal bugles. Those petite crystals. Yeah, I'm not happy. I'm gonna say it. I threw at least a third of them away because they didn't go over the needle. And I was using a size, don't know actually, an official beading needle that came with the kit from Mill Hill, and nah. And if they didn't go over the needle the first time, they certainly weren't going to go over it the second time. So they went straight in the ort jar. I wasn't messing around. Couldn't be bothered. Okay, that's nearly all my finishes. So nothing huge, but again, all full coverage. And quite frankly, really, really draining. I don't think it helped I had 3 on the go that were all the same colour. I like to change up my kits. I like to change up my whips because they change the colour palette. Okay, last finish is this one. So again, it's part of the advent calendar. This is day number 2. May as well do day number 1 while we're here. But day number 2 is finished. Set of mittens with some fairy lights top and bottom. Again, the world's smallest full coverage. Oh, P.S. This is not going to be a cat-free video. This is Leo. He's not normally awake at this time. They like to sleep all day and keep me awake all night. So here we are. Meet everybody. Meet Leo. Yeah. Hello. He's more friendly than he looks. Are you going to go down now? For anyone that's ever come on a video call with me, they've all met my cat already. So back to day number 2. So as I say, a pair of mittens. Again, what have I changed? They're called for on this. It's a Doreen Jones design, so the called for is always a 14 count Ada. I've swapped it out for 32 count opalescent even weave. I have put a few fractionals in where it doesn't call for fractionals because I like the slightly smoother finish where the backstitch goes. It's entirely personal preference. I'm making my life more difficult for myself. But arguably I'm only doing them around the edges where I know the backstitch is going to go. Okay, and then day number 1 is Rudolph. I've nearly finished the top section. I started backstitching this last night, so he actually looks a little bit creepy because he's only got one eye at the minute. The second eye is over here and hasn't been backstitched in yet. Let's see if I can make it a bit bigger. You can see his line for his eye, and then his mouth will be going in later. A bit of tartan on his jumper, some more snowflakes down the bottom, and then he's done. And about 10 miles of backstitch. And then we can carry on and do a few more. For those that have seen this before, you'll know I am actually starting to progress on this now. I have also finished, don't ask me why I did them in this order, day 23 and day 24. I think I was feeling an urge to stitch a Santa in August. And then some snowflakes for day 23. So they were done, and I think I showed those in my last video. I quite like the dancing Santa. He's quite cute. And he's got stars top and bottom. And this one has Christmas trees top and bottom. So they all have the same theme. They all have something top and bottom, and then the design in the middle with the numbers either in a red or a green. So 3 done, 21 to go. Do we think I can get this done for Christmas? The deadline realistically is the beginning of December, so that's another 6 weeks. Because I've got to quilt it all, turn it all into little bags, and then turn it into bunting. And that's not going to take me one day. It's going to take me a week. So that's my whip number 1 today. I'm going to finish him today. Whip number 2 is another Mill Hill. It's the 3rd one in the series of Winter Wonderland, which is this one. I can't remember when I started this. But I do know that last time you saw it, it basically had a bit across the top and a bit down the sides and not much else. So the cross stitch is not done yet. It's not completely done, but I would say it's about 95% there. This is all beaded across the bottom here. There's some more petite crystal going all the way around the outside and in these snowflakes. That's all done. This tree is nearly beaded. I've just got a few to put down the bottom here. And this tree I've started, and this is crystals, petite crystal and bugles again. And as I say, those petite crystal are slightly driving me bananas. The only thing I've got to say is they give you plenty. So they obviously know they don't fit over the needle. Because I've got far more than I could ever possibly need. My little bead containers, it's basically full, and I haven't bought any. Again, 14 count Ada to make it tough. This doesn't actually have any back stitching on it, but I've added a little bit here and here, and I'll do a bit more over here this side doing the swirls. Reason being is the swirls are all in white and I'm stitching it on white. The perforated paper it came with is a blue, a dark blue I think. So the white would have shown up really well on that, but it doesn't show up well on here, so I felt it needed a little bit of help. And also again, it ties it in with the other two if you put a little bit of silver on it. Again, done the border around the outside so they all match. This should be finished. This will be finished next time you see it. I promise. I have, however, this has got a crystal aqua, like a very pale turquoise bead that goes on this tree here. I've lost the tube. I don't know what I've done with it. I've got a sneaking suspicion the cat has pinched it. Cat number 2 sitting on my chair. I've got a sneaking suspicion the cat has pinched it, in which case it could be anywhere in the house. I'm reaching the conclusion it'd be quicker to buy a new set than it is to turn this house upside down to find something that's 2 inches tall. So that's whip number 2. Whip number 3 is another Mill Hill. This is an autumn one, the one I started on the 1st of September for our dear friend Aileen's birthday. Goes right well. And it's this one. It's the Pussycat on a branch. Let me see if I can find a picture. There it is. So it's this one. When it's finished, it'll look like this. It's a Halloween / fall design. There's a little blackbird at the top here, or a crow, and then the cat and the full moon and the house at the bottom. So again, it's not huge. It is full coverage. It is heavily beaded. I have started beading it. I put some black beads in down the side here and some red beads. I think they're called aubergine actually, but they're here, they're purple at this side. And I'll slowly made it all the way around, albeit only in half cross stitch so far. This is all DMC 310 down here, so I just stitch all the way along, counting as I go, and then right over it as I'm coming back. And then this is the eaves of the house. So that's the side, so it gives you a scale. This is stitched, again, I've swapped out the paper. I just really don't like perforated paper. So I have a box full of the stuff. If anybody wants it, I'll post it, that's fine. So this is stitched on 32 count opalescent even weave. Probably far and away my favourite fabric. Thankfully a lot of the beads are petites, so we're not going to have an issue with crowding, I don't think. I've done quite a bit on this since you last saw it. I think it literally had started in this top corner, or possibly this corner last time you saw it. So I've gone all the way around while I was on holiday. Started putting the branch in and started with the moon just up here, just very, very, very briefly. I got bored of stitching back. Can you tell? Can you tell? Apologies for all the threads. I literally just dropped it and picked something else up because I was ready for a change. Needle minder from Charisse at Denke Designs, who also has a channel, although she hasn't put a video up recently. So Charisse, this is for you. Please do a video. We miss you. It says, I solemnly swear I am up to no good, which, if you've ever read Harry Potter, is the password for the Marauders map. Which brings us on to whip number 4. I've already forgotten, you see. 20 minutes in I've already forgotten what planet I'm on. So, whip number 4. Also Harry Potter themed. Sorry, that was the cat. Apparently it's feeding time at the zoo. So you've seen this one before. It's the stag, Harry's Patronus. She says, it didn't work, did it? Let's try that again. There we go, dear. There we go. So it's full coverage from Tilton Crafts, 75,000 stitches. And I have finally reached 10%. I've got about 200 stitches left to do of this colour, and then it really is going away. Okay, so it's still on the Millennium, as you can see, and this is where we are at. So that is what 10%, 75,000 stitches look like when you stitch in colour by colour. This is colour 37 out of 60. So you can see we are really starting to see the design a little bit now. His antlers at the top here, and his body is sort of here. All this down this side and all this down this side is a mixture of 823 and 939. So that's quite a long time before you're going to see that, I'm afraid. It's stitched on 32 count, easy count, 1/1 full cross. And I'm really loving him. I am loving him. Blue is probably one of my favourite colours, and this, as I said last time, has got every single one in it, along with some green and some turquoise just to mix it up a little bit. So he is growing very, very slowly. Since you last saw this, bearing in mind I didn't take him on holiday because he's on the Millennium, he's had about 1,000 stitches in. Unfortunately, about half of that was while I was on retreat. We'll talk about that in a minute. So, yeah, retreat. It was the Yorkshire retreat at the end of September. About 40 of us meet up at Hollins Hall at Baildon, which is near Bradford, twice a year, March and October. And 3 days, Friday to Sunday, a bit of stitching, a bit of raffle, a bit of de-stash, a lot of shopping, a lot of meeting up with people you might not have seen for a year, especially me because I couldn't go in March to the March retreat. So for some people I hadn't seen them since last October. And just a generally chilled out weekend, although for me it was very warm. My trademark, if you ever see pictures of me at retreat, I'll be sitting there in a vest. Because I'm always very warm at retreat. However, we had to have a retreat new start. So I did. And it was this one. Find the front. So still on the bars, because I am officially still working on this, albeit a little bit haphazardly, because it's still at a stage that requires a lot of counting, so I need to be awake when I'm stitching it. But here we go. This is my start on Chatelaine Designs Poison Garden. So it's so far in the called for silks and called for Rainbow Gallery Treasure Braid. Believe it or not, there's about 4 colours in that and no more. This fabric is Supernova on Even Weave by Kate Sparkleys, and you needed 27 by 27 on 32 count. I didn't want opalescent. This is a very sparkly design. I decided not to have opal fabric. I didn't want it to take away from the design. So there we go. So this section in the middle is all Gloriana, and then this Rainbow Gallery silver, and this all between here is all Tyler beads. So that's all going to be left until the very end. The centre as well is virtually entirely beaded. There's some 1/1 stitching in the middle, but most of that entire section is Delicas and Swarovskis. So I am actually planning, I don't know if you can see the gold going out here. The plan is to do all 8 of the spokes all the way around, which is where the counting comes in. Finish off the silver. Finish off these threads, which is silk lame. And once I've done that, I'm going to scroll the bars and go up and try and find the top of the design, which is the arches. And then once I've found the top, then I will basically start filling it in and come back down again, top down. I haven't decided yet on this one whether I'm going to bead as I go or whether I'm going to bead at the end. I do have an issue if I bead at the end. It doesn't bead, doesn't get done, gets shoved in a cupboard and forgotten about. So I've probably already answered my question in that respect, in that I will have no choice but to bead as I go along. But we'll see. I've got some padding that I can put over the bars as I scroll to protect the fabric from the beads and to protect the beads from life in general, really. So that was the last whip. Haven't worked on anything else. I know I said I was going to work on my Pussycat. I didn't. I have got another one that's been calling to me recently, which is from Dimensions. It's called Midnight Dances. It's two people dancing the tango on a street at night. The people are in silhouette and you can see the street lights. I haven't worked on that for quite a while. So I don't know yet whether I'm going to pick that up yet. It's one I tend to take on holiday because it's got no beads on it, it's got no speciality stitches, it's literally just full cross and half cross. And I can shove it on a Q-snap and it doesn't matter if it gets a bit creased. Because it's on Ada, it'll get washed and it'll get ironed at the end. So it's one of my travelling projects. Started on holiday in Wales in 2019, and it does tend to be my holiday project, although I didn't take it this time because I was trying to get those mill hills finished and I wanted to get them finished. Okay, that's not too bad. Half an hour in, it's time for some shopping. Now, I forgot the haul last month, so there's a bit more this month than there would normally be. I also feel the need to point out there was a sale, so I might have shopped. Okay, first things first. New release from Bella Filipina, Tala, Deity of the Stars. So I have already got my Ari and I have got Hanan. The plan is to probably stitch them on one piece of fabric. If I do, they'll be closer together than they are, than I've seen them done. Because I want them to look like what, if I was going to do them on one piece of fabric, I'd want them to look like one piece rather than three ladies shoved on one piece of fabric. So, not quite sure yet. The plan is to start thinking about some fabric. All three are model stitched on dark fabric, so I will probably go down the route of a dark fabric, but I'm not completely sure what I fancy yet. Whether I want to go linen, opal, don't know. I am going to the Knitting and Stitching show in Harrogate in November, which is a big show for the north of England. There is lots and lots of stalls: knitting, wool, yarn, fabric, cross stitch, embroidery, gold work, you name it, they're there. There's lots of workshops and things like that, so I will be going to that this year. I haven't been since 2017 for various reasons, not least of which it wasn't on for 2 years because of COVID. So I'm quite looking forward to that. It's a day out, meet up with some friends, spend some money, and hopefully order a piece of fabric for these three ladies. So one of the things I really must do before I go is work out how big said piece of fabric needs to be. But she came from Arts and Designs in Scotland. Very good, free postage if you only order a chart, so that's a benefit. Okay. So my Silks for You order came. Now bearing in mind they come from Australia and I'm here in the UK, they do take about a month to come. So these are my September silks. Oops, she says. And we've got a yellow, a purple, a pinky purple and a green and a bluey purple with the yellow sort of running through all three colours. So that's this month's. You get 4 skeins, 15 meters. For $21 US, including shipping. So I don't consider that to be too bad. I've been in the club now about probably three years now actually, and I have got a very healthy selection. I'll be honest, I haven't really used them for anything. I was kind of collecting. I think that's probably the right way of describing it. I was only really collecting. I thought, when I've got a nice range, then I'll start using them. Well, I now have a nice range, so it's time to start using them. And on that note, I got some fabric. There is going to be rustling because I want to make sure that the labels all stay with the various pieces of fabric. Okay, so fabric piece number 1, Jodrey was having a sale. Okay, and the way she does it is she does it on Facebook, and she posts all the fabric, and you go, yes, I'd like this one, I'd like this one, I'd like this one, all the way down, and then she draws your name out of a hat. If you're the only person that asks for it, you get it. If more than one person asks for it, your name goes in a drawer. And I won about 4 pieces. So the first one is called Cairns Birdwing Butterfly. It's a 25 count Opal Lugana it's that colour, and that's actually pretty true. It's green and yellow. It's only 13 by 18. It's only a small piece. Don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I do find I collect fabric. I never have anything. It's pretty rare for me to buy fabric specifically for something. If I do, once it arrives, it immediately goes in that kit. Non-negotiable. If I change my mind later, that's fine, but it's already in the kit. I won't use it for anything else by accident. Okay, next one is Kate Sparkley's. This is her fabric of the month from July, and it's a sort of lilac. I get 32 count even weave opalescent at the moment. The plan is, I haven't told her yet, the plan is to try and change to linen for next year. So this is lilac, some shades of a sort of bluey purple, but it's pretty muted, pretty chilled. I can see it getting a mermaid or possibly a fairy on it. Possibly a fairy. These are all a fat quarter. So my fabric of the month are a fat quarter, which is a usable size in my opinion. Okay, next one, this is a linen. So this one is called Caribbean Ocean, 32 count Belfast Linen, and it's ocean coloured. There's no getting away from that colour. It is what it is. So it's turquoise, and it's going to have a mermaid on it. Which one? No idea. Not got that far yet. But it's going to get a mermaid. I don't think anything else can go on a fabric that colour. So again, that's a quarter. Most of these are quarters. This is the last one, I think, that's smaller. So again, this is 13 by 18, and it's called Winter Solstice, and 32 count Opal Belfast Linen. I told you it was a sale. It's all a bit random when there's a sale. And that's this colour. That one is possibly washing a little bit. It's green. So if it was bigger, this would be fabulous for the new Autumn Lane Stationery, Queen of the Earth. If I could get the same piece in a quarter, I think it would be lovely. Not that I've bought the chart yet, anyway. I like to see a couple of parts before I buy or sell. Especially one where I have to get all the stuff shipped from the US and pay about the same again in shipping as I've paid for the kit. Okay, so this is another one from Kate. September 2022 this time. My favourite colour is blue. And that's actually pretty true. Turn it on the other side. So it's dark and light blue. There's no variation. There's no different shades, no different colours in there. It's all blue. And again, opalescent even weave. So it does tone the colours down a little bit compared to linen, but that's okay. I am thinking Mermaid of Tubataha for that one. Not completely sure yet. Need to floss toss. Okie dokie. Next one, she says, I found another small piece. Okay, this is called Christmas Dawn, 32 count Belfast Linen. I have this colour on even weave, and it's a lot lighter. So that is another blue. It's kind of a school uniform blue. It looks a lot darker in real life than it just is coming out on the camera. So it's kind of dark at the top and pale at the bottom. So that's a lovely fat quarter. All these need ironing. I need to point this out. They all need ironing. They've all been folded up and tucked away. What I do is I refold all my fabric so it's that size. So it's like 6 inches by 6 inches square, and it lives in an IKEA bag with its label, and they just nicely fit in a drawer, and that's how I store my fabric. It's not ideal, but I like to keep the labels with them. My problem is that you buy fabric from suppliers and every supplier ships it in a different size packet, and that really annoys me. It really messes with my OCD. Okay, next one. Nearly there. This one's called Royal Peacock. Again, 32 count Opal Belfast Linen, and it's again 13 by 18. So this one is purple and teal, and I absolutely adore it. No idea what's going on it. Especially our 13 by 18. It's not a huge piece. It's not big enough for a mermaid or a Bella. Certainly not big enough for a Bella. Okay, next one. 2 left. See, that didn't take too long, didn't it? Okay, this is my fabric of the month from August from Jodrey. So again, it's a fat quarter, 32 count Belfast Linen. It's called Mulled Wine, and it's orange. It's not orange. I give her a due. It's not orange. It's wine coloured, but it's a very autumn. It's like wine that's been watered down with autumn colours, fall colours. So I love it. I think it's absolutely beautiful, actually. It was one of those I opened up the packet and went, oh God, is it pink again? Because I've got a lot of pink fabric. And then I unwrapped it and actually looked at it properly. If you imagine, I got it and it looked a bit like that. That was my first reaction. I was like, oh no, it's pink. It's not pink. I'll give her a due, it's not pink. Okay, last piece. This one, just to confuse you all, is from Chromatic Alchemy. Another lady that had a sale. So this is 28 count Opal Linen. This one was on sale, and it's got, it was technically a second because it has a dye spot on it. Just for the record, that is literally ½ an inch from the edge. I think we're fairly safe on that not ever being visible. However, I absolutely love it. It doesn't have a name, probably because it's a second, but it is a dark blue. The opalescent through it is a greeny shade. She says I found another dye spot that's there on the edge. But again, you know, if I stitch something on it that way up, that's going to be behind the stitching. If I stitch something on it that way, it's probably going to be off to the side. So I'm not too bothered. There's certainly ways of hiding those things. Again, not 100% sure what I want to put on this stuff. Hand-dyed fabric is always very difficult. I find it difficult to rely on photographs, things like that, because I want to see it in real life before I decide what I'm putting on it. I don't buy huge, I mean, that's a huge pile of fabric for me. I don't normally buy that much in fairly quick succession. I get 2 pieces a month from Fabric of the Month, and that's usually it. That's usually all I get. Okay. Holiday shopping. Holiday shopping. So, as much as I shop online, as much as we all find it convenient to shop online, I do like to support a needle workshop if I find one, and I was one on the Isle of Wight. He didn't have a huge amount of stuff. I say he, yes, there was definitely a he behind the counter. But I found this one, and it's a Dimensions Gold Collection Petites, and it's called Cliffside Beacon, and that is what it looks like. I paid £17.99 for that, UK sterling, so I probably paid significantly over the odds. I'm not going to deny that, but I wanted to support the shop, so I bought it. It's not very big. It's only 5 by 7 inches if stitched on 18 count, and the 18 count it comes with. Don't know yet whether I'll stitch it on the called for. It's got an area in the middle here that's all unstitched, so I don't know. I might swap. I might see if I've got something in there. The cat's back again. I might see if I've got something in my stash that's the right colour, that's a linen or an even weave. I think I'd rather have that than Ada. I learned that with my Midnight Dancers, that I really don't like stitching on Ada unless I have to. Okay, so that was all I bought on holiday. Some bits of ribbon and a couple of other bits and some needles, but that doesn't really count. So my next big spending spree was at retreat. First thing I did was go to the D-stash table because, well, who doesn't? And I found this one. It's called Blue Peacock. Again, it's a Dimensions Gold Collection Petites from a lady called Hazel, who has a shop online called Pretty Little Thread Keeps. We'll get to that in a second. So again, something a little bit different. And she only wanted a £5 for it. Fair enough, not arguing with that. So for those that ask questions about how D-Stash works, that's it. We have a table. You put a sticky label on your product with your name on it and a price on it. And somebody eventually will go, "Who's Hazel?" if you don't know the person already. And they'll come and give you some money. All I ask, as somebody who is involved in helping out with organising retreats, if you don't sell your stuff, please take it home at the end of the weekend. Because if you don't, we will take it for you and put it in a charity box. We don't hold on to it for a year for you. Possible exceptions if you message us and go, "Oh my God, I forgot, I'm really sorry," and we know we're going to see you in a few weeks, then yes, we might save it for you. But if you don't acknowledge it's your stuff, it gets donated. So that's D-Stash number 1. D-Stash number 2 came from a lady called Jane, and it's from a brand called Maya. It's 10 inches by 10 inches when it's finished, and it doesn't have a name. Oh, Shore Winds it's called, and it's a boat. Again, there's a lot of glare on that. There we go. So there's a lot of sea, and a little boat. It's very scenic. I quite liked it. There's a price tag on the back that says £35.75. Jane wanted £3. Again, we're not going to argue. It's, this is what D-Stash is about. It's about saying, I'm never going to stitch this. I'm never going to use it. I may as well get rid of it. And if I get a few pounds for it, happy days. Okay, then I went shopping. And I came back with a Nora Corbett called Emmy. So she's an archer wearing a blue dress. And I purchased this from Hawkins Hobbies, who had a shop at the retreat. And she sells, everything's labelled up here, look. So you can buy the chart, you can buy the full kit, you can buy the chart and the DMC, the chart and the specialist threads. They do come with the fabric if you want it. The called for witch elt is usually in the pack. I said no, so the pack has been opened because she's taken the fabric out. But I have got all the DMC, all the beads, the one cryonic that it calls for, and the chart. And I paid £38.50. So thank you very much, Savina. I will see you in November. I'll probably buy Savina. Don't know when I'm going to start that. It may yet be given to my husband to give back to me for Christmas. My cat is now sat on the rest of my stuff. Come on, maybe come. So, last but not least, Pretty Little Thread Keeps. So she started out by selling rings with designs on. And this year she came to a retreat and had a shop. And this one's already in use. So you've got to see it with the threads. So this is my design, or the design that I bought. It is like a malachite. And it's got a little miniature charm with the same design on it, on a ring. Of which I've got all my homemade thread drops. So that's item number 1. Sun's come out now, so now I can't see anything. Item number 2, same design. It's already on my scissors. Same design, sort of malachite design. They're on a silver back with a cover on to protect them. And then I bought a couple more from the sale box. So I bought 2 with butterflies on, which is that one and that one. And then I bought one which is supposedly a necklace, but it will get changed into a thread keep, I think. And this one's actually on a rose gold background, and it is like a seascape, because we all miss the beach when we can't get to the beach. And that's me. That's everything I bought in the last 4 weeks, 6 weeks or so. I always seem to have more than I thought I was going to have, but never mind. So don't know when the next video will be. Hubby starts his new job in a couple of weeks, so it's going to all be a little bit upside down over here. Certainly life will be a little bit on hold while he gets settled in. And my sister's flying back to England in 8 weeks as well, which I'm really looking forward to. Even though I saw her in January, it feels like it's been a really long 10 months since I last saw her. So I'm looking forward to seeing her. I'll keep me busy all over Christmas while she's here in England. And then we'll do it all again when she has another baby. Go back out there for another 3 months. And you might see me videoing with the mountains in the background for a bit of a change, just to confuse you all. What else? Thank you for sticking with me. It's been 45 minutes. If you've subscribed, I love you all. I've been really shocked, actually, at the response. Especially since I still haven't posted anywhere that I've put videos up. I just post them and wait and see what happens. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe, and you know, if you want to, that's your choice. But I'm not gonna sit here and beg. For those that have, though, thank you. For those that just come and watch and just keep coming back without subscribing, I love you just as much. I do want to shout out to Memphis Sarah E. I forgot in the last video. Felt really bad. She shouted me out a few weeks ago, and I couldn't believe how many people responded to that when she did. So thank you very much, Sarah. I love watching your videos. I've subscribed to you and I really enjoy watching them. You are my kind of stitcher. You know, not particularly obsessed. And stitch is what you want without any question of what anybody else might think. Okay, and we'll see you all soon. Stay safe. If you want to talk, I'm here. Thank you very much.